Alright, all you video gamers, welcome to yet another Mutant Scooby Doo Mansion Tour edition of the DJ Smokeys True Video Game Stories. And with a title like that, we decided to go with a game none other than Resident Evil Veronica X. And we almost forgot to mention this as a video game story, 1, and 2, if anybody remembers, this was a Tales from the Disc, and I do believe was a part of our first season of that said series. So the fact to bring it back almost 5 years later, nice. And I guess with that said, folks, I think it's time for us to gear up and get ready to head into a house that'll give me 1,000 nightmares, probably more than that, as we get ready to paint the picture. Alright, this video game story began approximately 13 years ago, pre and post Tales from the Disc. And it was just about around the time when my sister finally gave up on this game and decided to play guidesmen to help me try to beat this game by reading the guide that she found online, because that was the only way I told her I would be able to play and beat this game. Since there were spiders in it, and I told her there's no way I'm gonna do it until she said she was gonna read the guide. And during this little guide read of her explaining to me where all the monsters are and everything else was gonna happen during this game, I would still jump off the couch and run into the kitchen like a little girl on a multitude of occasions, whether it be dogs coming from underneath the porch, leaping and biting me in the neck, or even during incidents where I would see random spiders just popping up from out of nowhere trying to take me out. And it got so bad at one point, I would even turn off the game and run into the kitchen and turn on the news for my grandma to watch. And she would say, "What's wrong with you?" And for me to say, "I'm not fighting that. You can fight that." But after a while, I would start to question my sister's tour guide skills once we reached the Spratt mansion, and she would tell me all I would have to do is just walk up the stairs. Mind you, it would look like a house that was straight out of Scooby Doo, and I would respond back by telling her, there is no way I'm going up those stairs into that mansion. Forget about it. And after about a good 30 to 15 minutes of me just walking back and forth in the hallway, and in real life and in that game, I finally decided to muster up enough courage to try to head into that mansion and find some clues to try to finally beat this game once and for all. And once I made my way into the house, found those said clues I needed to find to progress through the game, I would then see probably one of the most weirdest, funniest, and probably the most terrifying creatures that this game has to offer besides spiders, in the form of something called a Bandersnatch. And for those who never played the game before, a Bandersnatch is a creature with one big arm and something that looks like a swamp monster from a Scooby Doo cartoon that, lifted a whole bunch of weights and didn't get the strength in, the proper proportions that it needed. And my sister would say, "Oh, don't worry, they can't climb up there." Next thing you know, the Bandersnatch would grab the cliff wall and climb up, and then would say, "Oh, don't worry, just jump down. It can't jump down and get you." And then after that, the thing would jump off the cliff and then try to smack me upside the back of my head, as my sister would say, "You know what, just run, get out of here." And I said, "What type of advice are you giving me, man? That thing almost killed me." And he said, "You could have shot it. I'm out of ammo, what am I doing?" For me to just run all the way back through that bridge hallway thing where I saw the lightning in the first place, and for me to finally make it through that part of the game, only several days later, when I was just about to beat the game, to make my way into the prison with this giant oversized stone slab that was hanging above the room, where it was a part of some weird looking trap. Now, my sister told me the only thing you need to do is to put the ID card that's in this weird looking hamster cage bubble right underneath that slab for you to get the ID card. And after that plan would work, I would have the bright idea to test my luck with this giant oversized slab. I would say, well, if I could do that, I bet I could do this. And before I could even do it, my sister would say, are you sure you want to do that? You know, when the last time you saved in this game was a long time. I don't think that's a wise idea for me to tell my sister, I'm going to have some fun with this concrete slab and there's nothing you can do about it. For my sister to just throw her hands up and say, all right, go ahead. And I would proceed to taunt the thing by going underneath it just a little bit to activate it, then moonwalking my way out of it before the slab would hit the ground, crushing me to death. And I would do this another time, and when it came to that third time, and usually with me doing silly things in games, 3 happens to be a magic number, and it would continue in this very game because once I went underneath there the third time and the controls got a little bit stuck and I couldn't moonwalk my way out and I turned around, I basically got smushed underneath that slab and it would say you died, only for me to try to do that whole puzzle once again after I failed. And to make matters worse, folks, I wouldn't have the same first time luck like I did before because it would take me a good 10 times after that one incident to finally get the ID card again. And my sister would say the magic words that she was known for, what did I tell you about showboating? For me to tell her, well, all right, how about you do it? Only for her to do it in her first attempt and give me back the controller for me to go into the local save room, save, and turn it off and not play it for another 2 weeks after that incident. Because there's no way I'm going to be shown up by somebody who refuses to play the game and then all of a sudden just magically get a puzzle right on her first try, without even trying nonetheless. And with that said, folks, wraps it up for another Mutant Scooby Doo Foolhardy Mansion Tour edition of the DJ Smokeys True Video Game Stories. And with that, we'll be back with more right after this. So stay tuned.